What's up, guys? I'm Landon from Shoewear, and today we're checking out one of Puma's newest basketball shoes, the Puma TRC Blaze Court. Let's go.
And I put it on Caesars. All I got is certified trunk beaters. Charge a couple cool K for the features. It ain't about the money, then you probably can't reach us. Hey, and I put it on mamas. Do it for the soul, for the fam, and the commas. Don't act, be chill with the dramas.
Welcome back to our channel. Today we're breaking down this new Puma TRC Blaze Court model. And these really have not been out for very long. I want to say they hit the market around late July or something like that. And the Puma Rise Nitro actually dropped around that same time. I'll probably be checking those out here pretty soon, but feel free to throw down in the comments just any other shoes that I haven't reviewed yet that you want to see. I think I have 4 lined up right now, but I mean, I'm always looking for new ideas out there. But now just taking a second to knock out some of the basic info for this TRC Blaze Court model. They're going to get a generic Puma box, and that is, pretty much what all of their basketball shoes and just their regular lifestyle shoes come in for the most part. And these are going to retail for $120. That's a pretty safe price point to start a shoe at. That's pretty average across the board for most basketball shoes. And as for the look, I think I did touch on this a little bit in my first impressions video that came out a week or two ago, but I really do like the appearance on these. But they do look pretty similar to most Puma basketball shoes in my opinion. These even just look like something you could wear off the court too. I do like that though, because a lot of people do wear basketball shoes just kind of in general, but I do feel the upper, the design does kind of get a little bit repetitive for Puma, just because you're going to be including that same logo running along the side of the upper on all of their models. I just feel you end up creating slightly different shoes instead of shoe lines you can easily tell apart. Jeez, that was a nice little tangent there. So now we'll get back on track to this model, and the color scheme on this shoe is really nice. I think it's called the eggshell blue electro pool colorway. I love the blue, pink, and yellow these get on the upper. Then on the tongue is going to be a patch with some Puma branding on there. Really not a whole lot going on, other than a small Puma logo around the top, on the heel. So I do kind of describe this model it's definitely a pretty clean look, but definitely also not a ton of details going on with this shoe. But now we'll go ahead and do what we really came here for and see how these hold up. So now checking out more of the materials and the performance side, and starting off with the cushioning, these are going to get a Pro Foam Plus EVA midsole that is meant to be extremely lightweight and give you instant cushioning and energy return. And then along with that is going to be some P-Bax foam in the heel, just to kind of enhance the comfort even more. So you do have some really nice cushioning features on this shoe. I mean, Puma's been making some really soft basketball models just over the last few years. The Metal Ball's first shoe was super nice. The cushioning was walking on a cloud, and so was the Puma Clyde All Pro, just from a few years back. And these pretty much had that same setup as that Puma Clyde model. The TRC Blaze Court has the same Pro Foam Plus and P-Bax foam, and it feels good. I wouldn't go as far as to say it feels great. On the other two models that I just mentioned, you do get a little bit of a deeper feel with just layer of cushioning than what I've noticed so far on this Blaze Court model. The initial feeling is great though. I just wouldn't say that they're quite as padded, but the sock liner definitely is. You have a really plush feel there just to give you a more comfortable sensation for your foot. And I did like that. And then technically I could actually hold off on bringing this up until the material section here in a second, but I'll just mention it now. So as you can see marked out on the midsole, these are going to get a triangle there that says Trinomic, and this is actually the first basketball shoe that Puma has kind of brought that Trinomic tech into. And basically that's just a cell structure to give you added stability and cushioning. I thought that was pretty cool, a pretty cool little fact there. I don't really know much about what Trinomic is, to be totally honest. I think I have seen it on a pair of my regular Puma shoes before. I just didn't know what it was until right now. But the last thing I'm going to show you for this section is going to be our Durometer Test. And the midsole for the TRC Blaze Court was reading at a 43. That is a little bit more firm compared to the average, softness of a midsole, but not by a lot. The midsole is a little bit tougher though, so honestly I wasn't surprised by that reading. But cushioning is definitely not a weak point on this model. I want to make sure that's clear. The Puma Mellow Ball 1 and the Clyde All Pro are some of the best shoes I've played for cushioning. The TRC isn't quite at that level, but still a comfortable shoe to play in. So now looking at the materials and the support, the base for the TRC Blaze Court is going to be pretty much just some mesh. It's kind of running along that toe box and then up the tongue. That is going to make it easier for your foot to breathe. And then there is going to be a change in the materials. The front half is going to be that mesh like I said. The back half is more of a filled in textile. And I haven't played in a ton of Puma basketball shoes so far. I think it's only 4 or 5 different models at this point, but to their credit, this has been the lightest shoe that I played in to this point. I just hit on these how these had that foam that's meant to be extremely lightweight, and then combining that with some lighter materials on the upper does lead to these weighing 384 grams for size 10.5. That is definitely on the lighter side. Then of course, whenever you see shoes in that sub 400 range for the weight, that's when it becomes a little bit more beneficial just to see some additional support features. And I am happy to say that the TRC Blaze Court does have some spots on this shoe worth pointing out. So I mean, first, all of those like colorful lines running across the upper, are actually some overlays just to help with the support. So these actually have like a lace-up closure setup too that is designed to give you a more snug feel. But you can even see the laces kind of running through those blue overlays in the front of the shoe, and the laces are actually like kind of feeding through this pink and yellow overlay around the ankle. So I mean, just keeping these shoes tight will just like help you feel those pieces kick in a little bit more just to help you out. Then around the heel, these have like a really secure heel counter. And there's like honestly no way to show it, but like if you squeeze the lower section of the shoe, I mean, you can really feel that, like right where your heel would sit, you can feel that piece right there just help eliminate any movement, while like just to keep you from sliding around while you're on the court. And then just to even jump back to the lacing system one more time for a second, the laces go through this little black lace loop in the middle of the setup, and like it feels like if you feel the inside of that shoe, it seems like that might be linked to like a band that kind of wraps over your midfoot. So I mean, these of course have that trinomic technology just to go along with everything else that I just mentioned, just to help with the stability a little bit more. So I mean, honestly, a lot of things to like about this shoe so far. Finishing off with the traction, I love when we get to end reviews on a strong note. I feel like every time I do a Puma basketball shoe review, it ends on the strongest note possible. The TRC Blaze Court gets Puma's high abrasion non-slip rubber tread that is meant to ensure you have good traction and durability, and once again they just knocked it out of the park with this traction setup. I mean, the pattern is a little bit funky, like, it kind of reminds me of the Puma Clyde All Pro a little bit. Those were a little bit more organized though, with like some patches and some lines. Kind of looked like a quilt. Like these do have some lines and some arrows kind of worked in there. It's not quite as neatly put together, but it literally doesn't matter. Like these give you insane bite on the court, and this non-slip rubber compound that they've been using, you know, in their basketball shoes have just like been off the charts great. Like I haven't played in a Puma basketball shoe where I didn't like the traction ever. And it's a good thing that the support is so strong on these, because I will say that, you know, with all the praise that I have kind of been showering on Puma throughout this review, the Fusion Nitro model that they released, I think it was like last year, I mean, that was top notch in all of these same categories except for the support. Like they played around with some type of like using like a rubber material on the upper, and the like traction was so good on those that the upper couldn't really support your foot or like just keep it inside the shoe. But that hasn't been an issue for me outside of that model on anything since. And speaking of rubber, that is exactly what's used on the outsole. That's going to be what this is made of, and the grooves are definitely thicker and they feel pretty tough. So that, along with the good cushioning, is going to make this a really great option for outdoor courts. And then to finish off with sizing, I did go true to size, and that was a perfect fit for me. Like you get about a thumb's width left over at the end, and then these are slightly narrow for the width. Maybe like, I mean, I don't really feel them noticeably squeezing my foot at all or anything like that. But overall, once again, Puma delivers another solid shoe to hoop in with this TRC Blaze Core model. The cushioning is probably the weakest point of this shoe, and it still feels really good. But I mean, along with that, you're going to get a light shoe with great support, great traction, all for $120. I can definitely get behind this. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. Feel free to throw us a follow or a sub if you liked the video. And if you're interested in buying these shoes and you want to support our channel, just click the link that we have here on screen, or we have links down below or in our bio. So feel free to check that out. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoewear. Peace.